Hey guys, we are headed down to Lincoln today, and so I am gonna take you along to some of the nurseries that I go to. I will for sure check out Oak Creek. That is one that usually has a lot of good stuff. And then I might even just swing by Lowe's or something, because sometimes they have different plants in different towns. So I'm gonna go see what they have, and I'll bring you along, and hopefully we find some good stuff. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to go to Oak Creek first and show you around there. This is where I usually get most of my bigger baskets of things. Like I have a big basket of Hoya macrophylla from there, now considered latifolia, but I will always call it macrophylla. And then I got a bigger, that's where I got my micans. It was a pretty big pot of that too. So they usually have good stuff. I'm hoping that they have a shipment in, like I hope they got a shipment in this week, because then that would be even more awesome. But I think they should have a pretty good supply, hopefully. And then I think I'm also going to go to Lowe's just to see what they have there too. So I will show you the prices. I like to see the prices of plants in different places. So I don't know how much I'm going to actually be talking on camera when I'm walking through there, but I don't know. I'm going to see. And then if I don't, I'll just do like a voiceover or something, because yeah. Okay, I had to stop and get my little Scooter's drink, but I'm here and I'm ready to go in, and I'm hoping that they have some good stuff. I decided I'm not going to talk in there, so I'm going to do a voiceover later, but that way I can kind of like pay attention to the prices and all that stuff. Okay, I'm here, but I had to stop and get my little Scooter's drink first. I'm going to go in. So when you first walk in, you'll see a bunch of plants, and it's pretty overwhelming at first, but I absolutely love it. It's truly a jungle in here. They always have some of their more rare orchids right up front. These are some beautiful variegated vanilla orchids. They're so pretty. And then along the back wall, they have some pots, and I haven't bought any pots from here yet, but I was kind of checking out a few while I was here, and they were really pretty. Over here they have a lot of their bonsai, and then some Hoya hanging up above. This is one of my favorite areas to look. I don't own any bonsai, but they're just always so cool. I always make sure to look up, because there have been times where I've walked down an aisle and I didn't notice that there was some awesome plants hanging up above. So one of the first places I look is up, because usually the hanging baskets are some of the coolest plants. This area and then all along the side wall to the west is where they keep all of their succulents and cacti. And I was so tempted by these big guys right here, but I did not get one. With little kids, I just don't think that I have a good spot for one, so I skipped that for the day. They were absolutely loaded with Sansevieria today, which sometimes they don't have very many, so it was really fun to see all different types, like these whale fins. They had 2 in each pot, which was amazing. They had some of the, I don't really remember what those light ones are called, the moonshine or something, I think. So those are really pretty. And then this is where they keep their potted succulents and mixed baskets of succulents. And then these are the ones I really love, and I just cannot think of the name right now at all. If you guys know the name of this one, leave it in the comments for me. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but they weren't labeled and I just couldn't think of it. So definitely help me out if you know it. And then there's just a bunch of snake plants, and then down towards the end of here is where they have some of their philodendron and Hoya. These are a few peperomia. And then I pretty much just start weaving my way through the aisles. There's just so much to see, and it could take me ages, but I kind of know where I like to go. I usually spend a lot of time around the Hoya and the philodendron, and then I will go towards the back to look at all of their bigger things and their bigger hanging baskets. But I'm just gonna let you guys see through for a little bit, and I try to show some of the prices so you can see if they are similar to where you're at or if they are a lot higher or lower. But for the most part, this nursery is very reasonably priced, and I feel like they offer a really good selection of plants for good prices. I was really tempted by all of these Hoya, especially this Croniana right here. It was so pretty. I did not get that one either, but hopefully if I go back they have some. But all of these Hoya were really good price. I think they were like maybe, yeah, they were $15, which I think is pretty good. I would buy a couple to make a fuller pot right away since they're a little bit slower growers. Then they had just a ton of great philodendron this time, and I was really impressed with the sizes and the selections for the price for sure. Now here is where we get to some of the good stuff. This is their super rare portion, and there were so many things I wanted here. I am tempted by all of them every time I come in because there's always something different, and I think they do a really good job of offering a good variety. And I mean, I feel like the prices are pretty average as far as the rare stuff goes. I mean, they're definitely pricey. But they're not any more expensive than what I've seen other places that I've shopped for rare plants. So I like that they're local and I can actually go and look at them in person versus having to buy them online. But it's just so fun to see all of these rare ones in person. Like there's an amazing obliqua. That one was $300. It's so pretty. I love it so much. So yeah, I just like seeing all these plants here. They probably don't like me touching them, but I don't know. I couldn't help it. There's just so many. The Chiverianas were about $100, which I think is pretty good price for that size as well. They had some rare philodendrons and some rare alocasia. They had these little mystery cups, and I'm not sure what was in there, but they were just little tiny starts. Moving on, as you move back towards the back of the greenhouse, there's just a lot more of the common plants, but they're all just so healthy and nice looking, so it's fun to see them super lush. Just a lot of Calathea, Stromanthe, other not as rare philodendrons, and then some Dracaena and Chinese evergreens. So there's just a lot of different stuff back here. Lots of hanging baskets of spider plants and ferns, and all the things that you could want and that you might see at your local store, but here they just seem so much bigger and more lush. So they had a lot of good baskets of hanging ferns. I was tempted by those as well. And then back here is where they have all of their hanging philodendron and pothos. And so they usually have really nice full baskets of those. Like there was some global green, little totems of the Monstera minima. I don't really remember what that one's called either. I just call it that. And then they have some of their ficus. They had some Audreys, and then I think they had some Altissima as well. Yep, there's the Altissima. And then they had Burgundy and the fiddle leaf fig as well. Nice big full baskets of Philodendron Brazil. And then there's the Burgundies. They just had all of them. $25 a pot, which I think is pretty good too for the size and health that they are. Back here is where they have all of their big trees, and it is so fun to walk back here to see how huge these things can get and how happy they are. I loved that Taniki. It was so pretty. I feel like the white was like extra white on that. And then they have some other big ficus, and then some more medium-sized potted ficus. And those were really nice too. I didn't get any prices on those. I didn't see any prices, so I don't know if they just weren't like selling those to the public or what, but I walked back there anyway, So I actually thought these were a pretty good find. These were some pretty full pots of the Syndapsis green satin. I've also seen it called jade satin, and they were pretty good looking and nice and full, and they were, I think it said $40. So I feel like that's a pretty good deal. You don't see these around very much, so I would say if you find one, snag one. I already have one, otherwise I definitely would have been buying that one. And that is it for the greenhouse. I feel like I showed you guys pretty much everything. There were a few spots that I just left out, but that's pretty much it. Okay, just got back in the car. You guys, I could stay in there for literally freaking hours. Like, it is the most amazing jungle, so overwhelming. I did not need to have a Red Bull drink before I went in there because my mind was going like a million miles an hour over everything that I wanted. But I did grab 2 things. I did not have good self-control, but also I kind of did because there were so many different things I wanted, but I only came away with 2. So I got this, which is the Epipremnum, I think it's, or no, not Epipremnum, the Monstera, I think it's like the Monstera Peru, Monstera pinnatum, something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'll look it up. And then I got the variegated Hoya Waieti. I do not have one of these yet, which is kind of crazy for being a Hoya collector. I do not have one yet, so this is a good size. This one was $24.99 for this 6-inch hanging basket. And then this Monstera, oh, it's gonna fall over. I'm gonna check and see how much the Monstera was. I don't remember. The Monstera was $29.95. So another really good deal for such a large plant. So very happy with these purchases. I will probably be putting them, I don't know. I'm probably just going to hang them in my sunroom. I think they'll be happy in there. But anyway, that place is amazingly overwhelming in the best way. But now I'm going to head to Lowe's to see what they have. Sometimes you can find some good little deals there. I always like to go hunt. It's like a fun little treasure hunt or something for me. So I'm going to go do that and I will bring you guys along. I always start off my Lowe's trip by checking out the clearance rack because I feel like you can find some good little rescues there. This is usually where I get all of my orchids when they're on like really deep discount. These weren't quite discounted enough for me. I like to get them when they're like $1. So I was gonna leave them there and maybe check back later. Everything else, I just wasn't that interested in trying to save at the moment. So I just left it there for somebody else. Next, I always check out the pots. This is where I got one of these bowls and did a mixed planter, and I love how it turned out. I feel like Lowe's always has a really good selection of terracotta pots, although this one didn't have very many left in stock, but when they do, they have a good variety of shapes and sizes, so I like to look there for pots. Moving inside, again, I usually always look up first at all of the hanging baskets and hanging pots just to see if I find any cool Hoyas or anything that have been thrown in there. Then I look at all of the tropicals that are on the main floor, and then I will move over to like the smaller things. I usually don't find anything else I'm needing in the smaller pots, but sometimes it's good if I want to make a terrarium. Back here, I was kind of surprised to find another whole clearance rack. It was mostly just succulents and cacti with a few ferns thrown in there. Again, nothing I was too interested in rescuing, but it was a pretty good selection of succulents if you're into them. I was really tempted by this little guy. I ended up putting it back and I'm still regretting it to this day. So I even looked at the Lowe's right by me and they didn't have any. So I don't know if I'm ever back in Lincoln. I'm gonna go check and see if they're still there. They were so cute. All right, I didn't get anything from Lowe's. They had some cute stuff, but don't need more plants, even though I just bought some other plants. I'm trying to like only get things that I either can't find anywhere else or that I've just never seen before and really wanted. So I'm trying to be good. But yeah, that is my shopping trip. I think I'm going to be done. I need to go home and get ready to go hang out with some friends tonight. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I always think it's cool to see how much things cost other places and like what other nurseries have and things like that in other cities. And so if you're ever in Lincoln, Nebraska, you know where to go. Oak Creek is 100% where it's at. They always have good stuff. There is another one I usually go to called Urban Trails, but they, I believe, are closed for the season. So I'm not going to go there today, but they do have a lot of good stuff too. Just a lot of like smaller starts that are even sometimes more rare. So that's fun. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys later.